word that we use every day, and especially we as designers have placed it on a pedestal. So we want to know what is your interpretation of empathy, and is it necessary for everyone to have it? And if so, then how can it be taught to someone?
Oh. Well, there's a lot of room for empathy in design, in creating things. But today, a whole lot of design that's happening in the country, a land which was steeped in aesthetic at one time, that we invested, people invested their entire life to just carve one stone column. That kind of culture, today our design and aesthetic needs more sympathy than empathy. Because if you walk in front of a home, all the 72 shades of Asian paints are used on a single home. It needs more sympathy than empathy. So, empathy essentially means that your life reverberates with another. This is not your idea, this is the way it's happening, isn't it? When you know, when we realized that Tamil Nadu had only 16.5% of green cover and the national aspiration was 33%, and a very rich land which it was, some UN agencies came and predicted in 97 or 98 that by 2025, 60% of Tamil Nadu will become a desert. I don't like predictions, first of all, any kind, because predictions don't take into account… they take into account the cold facts that are there, but they don't take into account what's beating in a human heart and what are human aspirations. So I drove around to see whether it's true. Then I found that it would happen much sooner than 2025. Then we made a simple plan. I made a simple barefoot plan. Okay, so many thousand square kilometers. If you plant 114 million trees in the next 8 to 10 years, in 15 to 20 years you will have 33% green cover. So I called a bunch of volunteers and about 4,000–5,000 people sat there. I told them, see, we need to plant 114 million trees. They looked like this. Sadhguru, do you know 114 million means what, Sadhguru? How many zeros? Can we ever plant that many trees? I said, see, Tamil Nadu's population is 6.2 or 62 million people. If all of us plant one tree today, take care of it for 2 years and plant one more after 2 years, we got the number. So it's just that people have never thought how to compensate what we are using. Then they said, no, how can we get people to understand this, how will it happen? Then I did a simple thing, I said, call one meeting. We called a much larger meeting, 7,000–8,000 people or somewhere between 5,000 to 6,000 people. Morning, 11 o'clock meeting in Tamil Nadu. This is a place where there are some 5–6 huge rain trees which cover almost like 3 acres of land. These 5 trees cover literally almost 5 acres of land, full shade, beautiful. But we sat in hot sun at 11 o'clock. So I also sat there in hot sun and talking to them, just gossiping with them, telling them jokes. Slowly, initially they were laughing nicely, slowly. You know, after 1 hour, if you're moving around, you won't feel the sun. When you sit there, slowly it gets you within an hour's time, they're looking like this, what's wrong with Sadhguru, why is he… right here so many trees, we can sit there. I went on, when I saw they could all faint, and I said, okay, let's go. And we walked and sat under the tree. Everybody, ecstasy. And I said, you see the difference? You know what's a tree only when you're roasted for some time in the sun. Then come under a tree, you realize it's like paradise, really, it feels like that. After a hard, sunny day, you come under a tree, you realize it's something else. People who are living in buildings won't understand this. If you're working outdoors, you know this very well. Then I said… I made them sit there and see, We set up a certain spiritual process. See, what you exhale, the trees are inhaling. What the trees exhale, you are inhaling. They all sat like this with tears in their eyes and some of them screaming, shouting, rolling. I said, this is it. All we have to do is, this is one half of your lungs hanging out there. You don't fix it, this won't function. It became an experiential process. Now you can't stop them from planting trees. Tamil Nadu has got a culture of planting trees like crazy. Even in the weddings, everybody is giving saplings to each other. Well, they've planted some 33, 34 million trees till now. It's not 114, but at least the culture has changed. People have understood. Now, I think, how many schools? No, some few thousand schools have become green schools. If they plant over 10,000 trees, we give them a certificate of a green school. A few thousand schools have become green schools now. The culture has changed. People are planting trees simply because they understood what I exhale, the tree inhales. Always this life has been reverberating with that, isn't it so? So empathy is not an idea, it's not a philosophy that you develop. If you pay attention to your life is reverberating with everything around you, isn't it? If it becomes an experiential process, we call it yoga. Yoga means union, that you actually experienced union with something beyond your body. This is called yoga. Consciously you obliterated the boundaries of your individuality, that means you're in yoga. Twisting and turning is not the yoga. Yoga means union happen. How will union happen? You have drawn a boundary of your individuality. If you consciously obliterate that in some way, then there is yoga. But whether you experience it or don't experience it, every moment what you exhale, trees are inhaling, what they exhale, you are inhaling, isn't it? So when you experience this, and I don't have to tell you, don't cut the tree, it'll anyway happen, but now you're trying to bring it as an idea, as empathy. But it is fine, empathy is fine, but if it becomes a living reality, it'll be much better. Life will happen more naturally rather than trying to rub ideas on each other, because life is all-inclusive. It's not that you and me have to make up a philosophy to make it inclusive, it's anyway all-inclusive, isn't it? Nothing can live without anything else. Everything is happening as one big happening. Instead of being a part of this mega celebration of life that's happening on all levels, then you will see you won't need a party. If you simply sit, observe things, everything flares up within you, because everything is happening like that. Nothing is separated from anything in the universe, isn't it? And empathy, you're trying to bring it to the back door. It's like morality. When you have no humanity, you need morality. If your humanity is up and alive, you don't need any morality, you will do what is needed anyway.
Today, when we have a lot of opportunities available